There's a moment when everything changes. Not when you get the thing that you want, but when you become the person who already has it. Guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Maxwell Miller, and here we all are once again. And I want to talk to you guys today about being the version of yourself that attracts everything that you want. About becoming the person who already has everything that they want right now, before anything manifests, before you can see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, touch it. You must become the version of you that already has it. I'm a big Neville Goddard fan. If you guys don't know Neville Goddard, you can look him up and maybe I'll describe him a little more in a future video. But he's a mystic from, I don't know, like the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that time period. And he talks about how if you become the version of yourself who already has everything that you want, everything that is relevant for you in your life will come to you automatically, if it's necessary, if it actually fuels your passion. I spent so much of my life, especially in my New York phase that I've told you guys about, where I was pursuing acting and I was self-sacrificial. I was in the rat race. I was nose to the grindstone, work, work, work. And anytime that I wasn't working hard or wasn't feeling like I was being productive enough or getting enough done, I was hard on myself. And I would put myself down, and I would judge myself for not doing those things the way that other people in the media will have you think that you have to be in order to have the things that you want. If you're like me, you grew up in the West, and in the West we are very conditioned to think that in order to get what we want in life, that we have to grind, that we have to work hard, that we have to sacrifice our time, our family, our friends, our relationships, and ourselves in order to get to that point. And I was a big believer in that for the longest time. You know, right out of high school, I always had a lot of big dreams. I was always a big dreamer. And I got into motivational videos and motivational speakers. And I was heavily influenced by them because at that time that was all I knew. I didn't have the spiritual background that I now have. I had a religious background. I was devoutly Catholic. And that probably ties right into guilt, shame, self-sacrifice, putting others before yourself. And I fell into that hard, and in those motivational videos, it's all about those things. Working harder than the person next to you. When other people are sleeping, you're up and you're working and you're grinding. And they make it seem like that's the only way to success. They make it seem like that's the only way to really become the version of yourself that you're meant to become. And I'm here to lighten that load up off of you. I'm here to help you to let go of that mindset and that mind frame. And it's taken me a very, very long time. And I still have my moments of not being able to fully let it all go. You know, that voice on my shoulder or in the back of my head that says, I need to be working harder. I need to be doing more. I need to be more productive. I need to be making more money, more connections, whatever it may be. But I know that that's not the way we're meant to live. Now, when you find a passion that you enjoy, something that you feel aligned with, I think undoubtedly at some point, from the outside looking in, if people were to look at your life and the passion that you have for that thing, for that creative expression that you're doing, they might look at you and see that maybe you are waking up earlier than a lot of people. Maybe you are, from their perspective, working harder than anyone else. But from the perspective that that person is living in, that these people are viewing and thinking those things of, a truly aligned person is just acting on their passion and acting on their excitement. And so there is no sense of effort. There's only a sense of ease and excitement and exploration and intrigue as they act on their passion. And everybody acts on it differently and for different lengths of time, and it looks different for everybody. That's why we can't judge or compare ourselves to other people in the way that their expressions and passions are coming forth and blooming themselves into existence. But when you're in that effortless downstream flow that I've talked about, and you feel lit up and you feel passionate, you're going to have that obsession rise to the surface. And so from the outside, people will maybe look at you and be like, man, that guy works hard. Man, he just, seems like he just has it all. And because this person works harder than anybody, and he's always on his grind, he's always on his work. But to that person doing it, if you're building a sculpture, if you're creating a project or a movement or something like that, it seems effortless. It doesn't feel like effort. It just feels like, this is who I am, this is what I love to do, and I could do this every day for the rest of my life and not get paid for it and be absolutely happy and content and peaceful. And so that's what I'm offering you guys to get to right now. Because you're not going to get there paddling upstream. And if you do get there that way, you're going to get to the point that you thought was your goal, that dream picture that you imagined. You might eventually get there by paddling upstream and being self-sacrificial and grinding and forcing your way there. But when you get there, I guarantee you're going to have a sense of emptiness when you get there. And you might even have a sense of some sort of regret because, you got to that point, yeah. But what did it take for you to get there? What did you have to sacrifice? Did you sacrifice time with your family, with your friends, with your children to get there? And is that really worth it? For some people, maybe, yeah. But I would say the vast majority of us, it's not worth it at all. It's very hard to let go of the images that we've created in our minds of what we think will make us happy when we get to that space. Very hard, because that's what I thought life was all about growing up. You do everything you can to get to the place to where you have the things that you want, whether that's millions of dollars, a family, a house, a sports car, a beautiful partner, accolades, awards, all those things that are outside of us that we think will fill the hole inside of us or that will satisfy us in the long run. I just know for sure for me is not the truth. And I'm not saying at all that we should not go after what we want to go after. Not at all. We absolutely should. I mean, that's what we're here to do. But we do it in a way that it's more important that we express ourselves authentically than it is doing the things that we think we need to do or that others have told us we need to do in order to get to the place that we think that we want to be. And so that's why just being the version of you that already has those things is what's gonna take you to where you actually need to be in your life. Because it's not about the end goal. It's not about acquiring things in this life. It's about service to others and service to ourselves. And I tune into the self-sacrificial part for a reason, because I myself always put others before myself growing up. You know, in religion, that's how I was taught, is to always put others in front of you. Always put, always put others before yourself. But I've realized through experience of doing that for a long time, about 20 years or so, more than that, that it didn't get me anywhere. In fact, it only led to guilt and shame and feeling down on myself and feeling bad about myself, like I wasn't good enough, like I wasn't deserving enough, like I had to validate my existence through things and accomplishments and trophies and people's approval. But being in yourself is the most important thing you could do for the world. And that's a selfish act. And we have to be selfish enough to take care of ourselves first, because we can't pour from an empty cup. For so much of my life I've been pouring from an empty cup, thinking that that was the right thing to do. Not knowing that I was actually pouring from an empty cup, because I was so self-sacrificing and putting others before myself and my own happiness, putting others before my own self. Let's lighten the load on ourselves, huh? I feel different as I'm saying this to you right now. It feels more grounded in truth. It feels very, very important that I share this with you, because I think this is the most important shift that humanity can go through at this time, is to put ourselves first so that we can be of service to others, and to be in alignment and express ourselves and be the version of ourselves that already has everything that we want in our lives. And what I mean by that is, if you want the dream house, if you want the dream car, if you want the dream relationship and family and job and whatever else, you have to be that version of yourself right now who already has it, because you actually do. Look, we live in an infinite universe. We live in a universe that is already complete. It's already done. Creation is actually finished. We're here as a part of God, as literally God, experiencing what it's like to be a human in the times that we decided to incarnate, from the perspective that we have right now, from the family and cultures that we were born into. And so creation being finished isn't to say, well, I might as well not do anything. No. Creation's finished, but the way that you experience creation being finished has never been done before from your current perspective. And that's the cool thing, is that you can experience creation in any given way that you want to. It's your choice. You have that free will. And so because we live in a universe that is already finished and we have the freedom to experience it however we want, that means every single version of us that we can imagine is already out there, currently, living, right now. Because there is no other time but now. Time, you've heard it, it's an illusion. It's not real, it's human created, it's a real experience that we have. We have the experience of time. But time itself isn't actually real. The future is now. Your past is now. So if you can anchor that knowing into your belief system, knowing that everything that you want in life, you can have. Anything that you want in life, you can have. And it's already existing right now. Then you can allow that to take the weight off of your shoulders that makes you feel like you have to go out there and get it. You have to be the energy that you want to attract which means you have to become the version of you that already has everything that you want, and everything that you want will come to you. People talk about the law of attraction and all those things, and all the different manifestation techniques, which are great and they're useful and everything like that. But if you were to just be the version of you that has everything that you want, because you've already put everything that you want out there. Whether you say it with your mind or your words, you have. Through the contrast that you've lived, you've established what you want and what you don't want, who you are and who you're not. And your higher self, that inner being, that God self inside of you, that all of us are, knows exactly how to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be, and what the next best step is for you, what the path of least resistance, what the path of most allowance is from where you're at right now to where you want to go. And it'll take you right down that path, and it'll give you the breadcrumbs to it. You just have to be present enough and full in yourself enough so that you can actually see those breadcrumbs, so that you can see the hints and the nudges and the synchronicities that your higher self and your guidance system and your guides give you at all times. You know, we always pray for more guidance, for more help. And the thing about it is, in any given moment, we're already being given all the help that literally the universe can give us, that our guides can give us, that God can give us. It's all being offered to us right now, because from that higher perspective, the higher self and your guides and angels and whatever you want to, label those things as, they already have your back. They already know what you want. They already know who you are. They already know the life plan that you've lined out, and they know exactly how to get you there, and they're offering all of it right now from where you're at, so you don't have to figure it out. You just have to be yourself and go within and maybe meditate a little bit and quiet your mind enough to where you can actually receive the impulses that you need to get you to where you're meant to go. If you let all of that go, and it's the hardest thing to do because of how we've been conditioned to work and do things, and we still have to take actions as they come to us, as we're inspired to take them, but we only work from inspired action, from quieting our minds, from trusting ourselves, from acting as if we already are the person who has all of these things, who is this ideal version of us. Because once we do that, then everything starts coming to us, because it's probably going to be an opportunity that comes. You'll get a phone call, an email, you'll meet someone randomly who just happens to have the right connection to take you to where exactly you've been wanting to go, or to where the next step is. And you'll recognize it, because when you're in and you decide to do that, and then you see a synchronicity like that happen, whether it's something from the outside coming to you, or maybe an impulse that you have from dropping out of meditation, or after you do a workout, or after you go for a hike, or after you call a friend, or after you go for a walk, or after you eat a really good meal, because you've done all of those things from inspiration, and you've done those things from being that version of yourself that already has everything that you want and already is everything that you want to become. You will catch it. You will know it when you see it. You will hear it. You will feel it. Just like these crows are affirming that this is what is the right thing to do for us. It's a new way of living, guys, that we haven't allowed ourselves to experience fully before. And so we got to be gracious to ourselves, because we're going to have moments where we slip up and we start self-sacrifice. We're going into the old patterns, I'll say. We go back to those old patterns of living and feeling like we need to accomplish something and then we'll be happy. We need to achieve something and get to the place we see in our minds and then we'll be happy. But instead we flip that on its head and we be the person who already has those things, and those things naturally start coming to us. And that's just physics. What you put out is what you get back. It's literally physics. This is not woo-woo. This is actual, applicable, realistic, logical knowledge that if you apply it, it will work for you. And here's the last key that I'll say. is that we need to do this from a place of non-insistence that what we want has to look a certain way. So when things start coming to us because we're acting on our excitement and we're really expressing that version of ourselves that feels authentic, and things start coming to us, we need to still be present enough to enjoy those things and not assume that they're taking us in a certain direction, or not insist that they take us in a certain direction that we think is logical and we think is the most realistic from what is coming to us, where we think that's actually going to take us. We have to just take it as it comes, be appreciative and thankful for it, and go with the flow of where it's going, and trust that process, and trust that you are present enough to allow what needs to happen. The point is to trust yourself with how synchronicities are coming and just go with the natural flow of them. Don't insist that it has to look a certain way. Don't insist that a certain outcome has to come from a synchronicity that comes to you because you're acting on your fullest self and you're acting on your excitement, you're being your authentic self. Don't insist that it has to take you anywhere. Just enjoy it, be grateful of it, recognize it, rejoice for it. Actually appreciate yourself that you've manifested a synchronicity that is saying, yeah, you're on the right track, keep going. Yeah, you're on the right track, keep going. And just keep going. And enjoy the process. Remember, it's about the process, it's not about the destination. And remember that behavior follows identity. So you have to identify with that new version of yourself. How does this version of myself take on the world? How does this version of myself talk to the person at the register? How does this version of me stand in line to get groceries? How does this version of me get into their car to drive to work in the morning? How does this version of me talk to my family members, my friends, my colleagues? How does this version of me walk and talk? You have to ask yourself all these questions and then embody it and practice it. You're playing a character. We're all playing a character. These are all characters. We're all God pretending that we're not, which is a pretty cool thing, a pretty cool little character. But we have to remember that we are God so that we don't pretend that we aren't God. We're just having a human experience that has temporarily allowed us to forget that we're God. And so the discovering again that we are God is such an amazing process. Because imagine how God would treat itself. You know, all the biblical verses and everything like that of how God is this amazing being and how it deserves worship and all these things. Imagine if we start treating ourselves as that God and treating others as that God, because all of us are God itself. Imagine how the world would change. So that's what I wanted to come to you guys with, is to embody the wish fulfilled now. Act as the person that has the things that you want in your life and is doing all of the things that you want to do in your life, and that has already helped and been of service to all the people that you want to help and be of service. Be the version of yourself without the back pain. Be the version of yourself without any bodily issues. Be the version of yourself that feels amazing and wakes up energized every single day. And I promise you, if you continue to do that with faith, even at times where you're not feeling it and you still feel that back pain like I do, know that those things, those challenges are catalysts in our life. They're there for a good reason, to teach us a lot of things. And when we do finally let them go, is something that we will be able to appreciate, because we lived a version of ourselves that wasn't feeling the best. But now that we're feeling good and we've gone past and through all of that, man, how much better do we feel and how much more appreciation do we have? And we need to be that version of ourselves right now. So come with me on this journey, guys. Make sure you comment down below your manifestations, your journeys, everything that you're going through right now. Again, I'm not just creating a family here. I'm truly here to start a new movement. A movement into the new age. A movement into the new versions of ourselves that feels like we're actually living and not just surviving. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit hit the like button if you made it this far into the video. Hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video when it comes out. I'm posting every Wednesday and Saturday, and there's going to be live streams, and I'm going to let you know when those are coming as well. Those are going to be a lot of fun. But thank you so much for being here on this journey with me. Remember, take care of yourselves. Be the version of yourself that you want to exemplify to the world. Be that version right now. Because again, these are the times. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next video. As I've said before, the higher self is on another car. We love the cars. Not too far from the road. Just give me a second here. Hello. You can taste the dust. Good evening, sir. Nice. Check them out. This will be the last time we film